my guy.
What up, killer? What's going on with you, big dog?
I ain't even gonna lie, bro. I tried to run to my room. I about busted my tail jumping over the sofa.
Oh, before the episode started.
Boy, I had 25 seconds. I had to make it back.
Oh Lord.
Hey, but we here. Um, as y'all know, we got a great episode for you. Due to technical difficulties, we had to reshoot this one. So I think this
Bro,
one gonna be.
why you told them all? They didn't know that, dog. They did not know.
Hey, we authentic. We genuine. We try to tell people what it is. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna fabricate or give them no fake news, because what's gonna happen is when we post those reels from the last episode, they gonna be like they ain't wearing the same clothes.
Facts. Well, actually, that's gone. I deleted it. So, but first, since we're gonna try to duplicate what we did on the previous episode, I have to start off by saying, listen, with growth comes accountability.
Yes, sir.
Last week, me and you was up here chopping it up, and I said some things, and the things that I said was intended for 2 or 3 people, but in the process of me saying what I said, other people felt the effect of that, and it wasn't meant for them other people. So on this show, me and you talk about our experience and what we, how we navigate this bodybuilding world. So in the midst of that, I have to be careful with my words, because I don't want people to get affected by what I say when it wasn't meant for them. So from here on out, I vow to be careful with my words. And if I have a bullet to put out there, I'm going to put somebody's name on it instead of just spraying the whole crowd.
Okay, straight shooter. Hey, sub them. That's what I'm talking about. Say a name. Say their name. Nah, let me stop. Hey, I don't condone that, yo. I'm gonna keep them level headed. But nah, kind of like I already stated. I said the one thing about us is we're doing this and we're speaking solely from our experiences. This isn't other people's experiences. Usually this isn't, and most of the time we're speaking our opinion on certain subjects and certain things. So I think it's kind of disheartening when we can't even just speak our opinion. I understand controversy and I understand we can get controversial at times, but most of the time that isn't our intent. I think this show has done a lot of things in regards to give people information on competing, give people information on shows. Whether we get credit or not, we help people connect with these promoters, help people connect with coaches. Overall, and just try to build the sport. Like, the one thing about us is we said we want to leave the sport better than the way when we came in. When we came in, we didn't have anybody telling us like, hey, this show is a good one, or, this isn't really a good show, or we didn't have anybody giving real feedback to these organizations like, hey, this is what athletes are looking for. Like, people come to us all the time about, hey, well, this was my feedback and things of that nature, or this is this. And I think we are I would say we're blessed enough to have made connections and networked enough to be able to pass this stuff along to people, so then that way athletes are heard.
Absolutely. And not to give this any more energy than what's needed, but I also think there's a double standard out there too, because for some reason when I say something, it echoes and it takes off and people try to twist the words around, but when another athlete says something, it's kudos. Like, oh yeah, you're right. So I think there's a double standard when it comes to me personally, which it's okay. I'm cool with that. I got big shoulders. If anybody want me to be the villain in their story, I would love to play the villain. I will be the villain. That's no sweat off me at all. But enough with that, bro. Let's get into this episode, dog.
Gotcha. All right, so we got a lot of stuff on the docket. As y'all know, the season is ending, so there's 3 things that people kind of always talk about at the end of seasons. They talk about, one, my feedback so I can improve for next year. They talk about, hey, I'm done with this. I'm hanging this up. You know what? I might not want to do this anymore. Things of that nature. And then lastly, which we get into, that reverse diet. So we're going to give a little bit of information on that reverse diet. But first, I think we have a few guests lined up, which I'm super excited about. We will have a series going into I think we had a series last year, or we had an episode last year about when is it time to hang it up.
Right.
Jamal made a statement in the last episode about people maybe hanging it up too early in their proms. They're walking away from the sport for many different reasons. So this segment or these episodes will be, hey, why did you choose to hang it up? Why did you consider hanging it up? Is there anything that can change that will bring you back out of retirement and things of that nature? So we're looking forward to those episodes. I think we have 2 people lined up already that will have a segment, a part of their interview with that. So I'm excited about that. But let's get into judges' feedback, man, because this is like the big topic. I know we had other episodes, but Jamal, how do you feel about judges' feedback? You have done 6 shows this year, and you have continuously to improve your physique. But was that off of critique? Was that off of feedback? Or was that off of like, hey, I just know I can keep getting better?
Off the strength of I know I can keep getting better. Obviously, if we rewind, it's October, bro. I stepped off stage last year in September, Yorton Cup, placed fourth. After that, I decided to do Tampa in November. Fast forward to October. I've done 8 shows in the span of that time. My first show this year was, I believe, April. It was Jackie and Magnum show, the Magnum Muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So I done that show, and obviously my physique wasn't the peak physique that I knew I could have towards the end of the year. So me and my coach, we just slow grinded, man. And as far as the feedback, because I don't want to get off topic from the feedback, I have not asked any of the judges for feedback this year at all. To be honest, I got feedback from a show last year. It was kind of discouraging. It wasn't helpful at all. So this year, I knew what I needed to work on, and my coach knew what I needed to work on, and I just opted out of getting judges' feedback. Obviously, feedback is going to change from judge to judge, from show to show. So obviously, April was my first show, and I guarantee you the feedback that I would have got from April wasn't going to be the same feedback that I got. When was my second show? May, I believe. No gear. May.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure it would have been totally different feedback. And, and that's rightfully so, right? Because it's different judges, different judging panels. But for me, as a seasoned pro, and this is no knock to any of the judges out there, but for me being a seasoned pro, I don't think getting feedback is necessarily helpful for me. Now, if you're an amateur and you're new to the game, yes, please get the judges' feedback. Get it. But I think we're all self-aware as seasoned pros. We know what we need to work on. What about you?
So yeah, I agree. And I think I have got feedback from 2 of my shows. But the thing is, I want to make a very serious statement. This is why choosing a coach, choosing the right coach is very key, right?
Right.
Because I think with me, I kind of knew what I needed to improve. Like no one after my 2023 win, of course, after you win a show, it's very hard for people to give you a critique. They really don't tell you what you need to improve on. Me and my coaches already had a game plan of like, hey, if we lose this show, it's because of this. If we win this show, it's because of this. You know what I mean? And these are the places we want to improve. And that was already in place before I won the Yorton in 2023. Like I knew there was things I needed to bring up. And if I wanted to be, as I say, a more dominant or a dominant physique, I needed to bring these specific things up. So that's why having the proper coach in place is like, all right, that's like the game changer. Because when I go to a judge, I should already know what they're going to tell me, especially as a seasoned athlete. Now, maybe not as an amateur. As an amateur that just turned pro, like I would say, like when people say, hey, you should maybe look into this category, you should maybe look into this category, it's because, of course, they're trying to guide you and help you with your pro career. And that might just be the self-awareness is very low, or you may not have done that many shows as a amateur. But like I said, as a seasoned pro, when we're talking about top 3, top 4, top 5, top 10 at the Yorton, most of the time the judges have to nitpick to get through all of you guys. So it's very little to critique, but there's still some places you can improve on. So I do the same thing with my athletes. I tell them when we're going in, like, hey, this is where we'll win the show with these specific attributes. Now, if somebody comes in with a better this is where we need to improve on. So when I tell them that, it's like, hey, we can win the show from the front all day, but we need to bring up your back in the off season. So my guys kind of know what they're going with. And the reason we ask judges for feedback is honestly just to reassure what we're saying. So if you tell us something way far left of what we're already thinking, it's kind of like, yeah, we're not gonna, and it's not gonna say we're not gonna listen to that or look into that, but it's almost like, that's kind of way off. Like if we know that we're bringing our best conditioning, and then someone says, hey, you need to be tighter, and it's like the guy who beat him wasn't tighter than he is, and it's like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? So sometimes it's on par, but the thing is, I have got better feedback from people that's at the show, that's seasoned, that gave me feedback than I have from a judge. And that's kind of the route I go, as crazy as that sounds. Like sometimes if I know somebody who's been in the sport for a very long time, that's a student of the game, I may ask them like, hey, what did you see? And these are people who's also judges that probably just wasn't judging that show, who give me really good feedback, like detailed, because they know me. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate those, because I know that they're actually coming from a place of like, I don't have to answer to 100 people or 50 people. I'm just talking to you.
Right. I want to use my words carefully here. So, do you think top tier pros are more, I'm trying to use my words carefully here, man, because I don't want to disrespect nobody or make them seem like I'm disrespecting anybody.
Right.
Does it matter who your feedback comes from as far as judges, as far as the respect thing? Because I know me personally, there's some judges, like if they gave me feedback, I'm gonna look at them like, okay. And there's some judges, if they do give me feedback, I'm gonna actually listen to it and take it seriously.
I think so. But I know where you were going with that. So I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna try to clean it up. So all top pros may not be good judges. Because they might just have really good genetics and just be good at the sport, but they can't tell a body from a body. They can't tell a bikini competitor from the next bikini competitor. And some of the best judges I know weren't top level competitors, but they have judged top level competition and seen it for years. So by them accumulating that, and I think it comes down to also being a fan of bodybuilding. I feel like a lot of people who get into judging may just get into judging because it's a cool thing. But if they're not an actual fan of bodybuilding to dictate a body from a body, it's like, I may not listen to your critique respectfully. And that's just me, because it's like, if you tell me if you legitimately only been around bodybuilding for 2 years, let's just say you've been around bodybuilding for 2 years, I can't really trust that you're going to tell me the finite details in my physique. Right. And that's just me, honestly. So what I encourage that these top level pros who's been in the game for a while become judges. Like I ain't gonna lie. If I was to see Marshall Johnson sitting at the judging table judging me, and I see him and I'm like, he's a fan of bodybuilding. He's been in this game for 25 years. If he was to give me feedback, I'll listen to it. Same thing, rest in peace to Will Powell. He used to judge a bunch of my shows. And when he said something to me, I listened. You know what I mean? Correct. There's certain things like people like that's like true fans of bodybuilding. There's people who haven't been in the game as long as them, but they have a certain where, like, if you have a conversation with them about bodybuilding, you can tell that they genuinely know what they're talking about.
And then I think we also have a certain respect for that
Correct.
person also.
Correct.
Absolutely. So when you're giving feedback, critique, what are some do's and don'ts you do want to do and you don't want to do when you're given a competitor feedback?
So for me, I hate the question when someone asks me, or where did this guy beat me at? I hate that question. Or where did this girl beat me at? Right. Because that's not talking about your physique, right? So I like to directly correlate it straight to the criteria and say, hey, this is where you can improve your physique, whether it's the symmetry, whether it's the muscularity, whether it's the conditioning, all of the things like that. So I think major dues is speak specifically to the person about that person. A major don't is, oh, I had you won, so I don't know what happened. Like,
say that. I was going to
quit
say
saying that, because the funny thing is, I guarantee that you probably told 5 other people you had them at 1 just because you wanted to avoid the flack. And especially since all judges don't have a voice, because it's usually nowadays you're getting feedback from one person. You're speaking to one person.
Mm-hmm.
So if that one person say I had you 1, then now they're going to go down the rabbit hole like, yeah, the judge that gave me feedback said they had me 1. That doesn't matter because it's a panel of 7 or 5.
Right.
So just hearing that from one person, it doesn't matter. So speak directly to that person's physique. Another thing is, like you said, if you're going by the criteria, find something to give them positive to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Like, speak some positivity into them and then say, hey, like, of course, like I said, I think me and you had a conversation. I was just like, top level pros is hard to you have to nitpick. And I would literally tell them this. I was like, yo, for me, I was like, and you can take this with a grain of salt. I would like for you to come in a little bit leaner in this category.
Yeah.
I'm nitpicking at this point because you could have won the show. But hey, I think that what would set you off really, if you come in a little bit tighter, because I think your hamstrings would be a little bit more dug in, and be specific. You know what I mean? And I think with me, the whole thing with feedback, and I want to mention it, is I did this at the Immortal Muscle. Shout out to Richard Rico. Of course, I got to repeat this because Richard Rico, I decided to come upon myself. I asked Jackie, I was like, hey, do you mind if I go talk to these guys in person and give them feedback here? I said, to be honest, I don't want to answer emails, to be honest. So if I could catch them here, I'd rather talk to them face to face, look them in their eye, because I said most of them, 1, know who I am. 2, I feel like if they either going to respect it or they're going to swing on me. 1 of the 2, but I'm ready for whatever, you know? So then I was just like, I went and talked to every single last men's physique guy that was at that show and spoke to them in face to face, like, hey, this is where I see you can improve. This is where I feel like you can be better, things of that nature. And a lot of those guys took that critique and ran with it. Richard Rico actually didn't place at that show. He's out of Cali. And then he ended up coming up to me at the Yorton and was like, yo, you know, I took your feedback. I improved on myself. And then he literally placed 3rd in his class at the Yorton, which is the biggest show. So I think that's when feedback can come in, especially if it's from a person that you're like, hey, this guy know what he's talking about. Let me improve on these things.
Right. And just to, you know, piggyback off of that, I don't think person-to-person feedback is necessarily bad. I know the OCB got away from that because of obvious reasons, you know, because different issues can occur. I'm not saying this happened. I'm not saying this happened in the OCB. I have no idea. But let's just say, you know, an athlete and a coach come to the judging table and the judge give the athlete feedback and they don't like it. Anything can go left, right? Like,
for sure.
So I get why the OCB don't do face-to-face feedback. But sometimes, like I said, face-to-face feedback can probably be one of the best things because now you can't hide behind a keyboard and type it. Like, you got to sit there and look the athlete in the eye and tell them what they can improve on. And that just, you know, takes away all the BS. Because I heard of some instances, and I'm speaking from I competed plenty of places. So whenever we talk, we're not only talking about the OCB. So let's just put that out there. But I've seen some feedback where it's not helpful at all. Not helpful. And I'm gonna put this out there too, and I'm sure he won't be upset or mad about this. But if you get feedback from any judge, and I'm now talking about the OCB, and the feedback does not pertain to your actual physique and how you can improve, send that to Sully, because they can't fix what they don't know is broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if some of these judges are giving you just feedback way left field and it's not helpful, hey, I challenge you to send that to Sully so Sully can get with the judge and retrain them or whatever the case may be, so you can get helpful feedback in the future, because it's only going to make you better.
No, 100%. 100%. And yeah, like we said, those are my major do's and don'ts. Is there a specific do? If you were to receive feedback, let's say from you see somebody at the table, and they were like, "Hey, Jamal," and they had to give you a feedback, what would you want part of that feedback?
Straight to the criteria. We have a criteria for a reason. So don't go left field on me. Go to the criteria. That's what the criteria is for. So give me feedback per the criteria. Don't tell me, hey, you would have won if you would have fixed your front double bicep. If you would have posed different. Like, so you telling me I would have won if I would have fixed my front double bicep. What about all the other body parts and everything else? So that's the do. Stick to the criteria. A don't for me is I'm not going to say, or don't say anything that does not pertain to my physique. And what I mean by that, don't tell me I should have worn different colored trunks. Don't tell me, oh, I should have done my hair a certain way. Don't tell me, hey, you would look better if your suit was blue. Like, no, that has nothing to do with my physique. So that's a big don't for me.
So you telling me since you don't get your feet done before the show and you don't get an egg job, they better not say nothing about that.
Man, facts. don't even speak on my personal appearance as far as my hair or anything like that. Because hey, bro, you gotta get me hot now.
Hey, you can't talk about black women hair, so y'all better stop. Y'all don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's crazy work.
Hey, there's certain fights.
Hey, you said that, not me. That's crazy work.
There's certain fights I don't do. There's certain fights.
Oh man.
But no, I think it's just one of those things where I think if you directly make it about the person's physique, don't even do the comparison. Like, I think the only time I ever do the comparison is just like, hey, like I judged across different federations, and one of the federations conditioning is key. They said, hey, this is the standard conditioning is key. So when someone came to me in that division and saw the person who won, I was just like, hey, the only time I ever made the comparison, like, hey, I judged you based on the criteria. You didn't meet the conditioning standard of the winner. So then when you look at the winner, you kind of have a gauge of how conditioned you need to be for that specific day or for that criteria.
Okay.
So then that was the only way I would mention someone else, but it's almost like, hey, you can come in way tighter. You can improve here, improve here, improve here. I think it's always good as a judge to try to give, like I said, just give them something. Don't tell, and this happened to one of my athletes, and it kind of it got to me, you know what I mean? When they were just like, oh yeah, splitting hair or preference. It's a subjective sport. We were splitting hairs, but it's almost like, all right, if it was splitting hairs, tell me where I can improve to make sure that the hair is split in my way. You know what I mean? Like, tell me something. Don't just say, hey, it was splitting hairs, which I enjoy. Like I said, I enjoy the sport, but like I said, I usually go into the show knowing what I need to improve on moving forward.
Okay, but before we go into this reverse diet,
I was about to go.
Let me ask you one question, because you kind of brought up a good point.
I should have ran.
Do you think it's fair for a judge to compare your prior physique to the physique that you just brought on stage? For instance, let me give y'all an example. 2023 is when you won the Yorton Cup, correct?
Correct.
Do you think it's fair for a judge to judge you off of that physique versus your current physique that you just brought to the stage?
Hey, it would be hard for them to remember that physique because it was 2 years ago, granted. But Unless they got a picture right in front of them, I don't think they could have. I think it's fair? Absolutely not.
Okay.
But there's a caveat. It's almost like the Tom Brady thing when he was like, What's his favorite ring?" And he was like, "The Nets one." I honestly feel like your Nets package should always be your best package. So you should improve. So they should think you improved. I know that's not always the case because I do think it does get held against you if you, let's say, you have a crazy peak one show and then the next show you miss your peak by a little bit, even though you're still on, but you're just not as good as you was last time. I think that can play a factor into it. But the good thing about that is if you're like, I'm pretty sure the shows you went to, you probably only seen the same judge maybe once or twice. Like you traveled all over the damn United States
I
this year.
went all over, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I did, man. I went all over, and it was a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, catch flights, not feelings, ain't it? The whole hashtag peace sign.
Man. Hey, what they do now? Hey, clock, get right.
Well, all right, y'all. So we're gonna move into reverse dieting, and we're gonna speak very briefly about this because the one thing that we wanted to start this on was giving you guys some information, giving you guys some gems on a lot of different things. And the reverse dieting portion of this is I have had conversations with multiple athletes, and it tends to be for me and for a few other athletes. Like I said, I'll just speak for the people I spoke with. They said it's usually the hardest part of prep because during prep, you're focused on hitting the stage. Like, if you go get that food or eat that dessert, like that's going to affect your look. But after the show, it's almost like you have access to everything, but you still have macros and still have a plan to follow. So Jamal, with reverse dieting, do you find this as the hardest part of prep? And how do you go about your reverse?
Absolutely. I think reverse dieting, for one, is the most important part, and it also can be the hardest part.
Right.
You need to reverse correctly. I cannot say that enough. Many times after we get done with our season or whatever, we just want to eat everything under the sun, and before you know it, it's been 7 days and you're already up 15 pounds. 100%. Man, leave that dog alone. But yeah, reverse is so important because during that period, that's a good way for you to put on that lean muscle tissue, man. You're already lean. If you do it correctly, you can make great gains during that period of time. As far as how me and my coach do it, we just do the damn thing. He, after I step off stage and the season's done, he send me my reverse plan and I follow it because at this point, this is a lifestyle for me. And of course, we all got the cravings or whatever the case may be. And yes, we're human. Still allow yourself to, have that balance, but just don't go too far away from the plan.
Facts. I think the thing with reverse dieting, and I'll be super transparent. I have not been the most honest on most of my reverse dieting. I had maybe 4 years where I really got into my reverse really well. And it played a major factor into my growth going into the next year. And I really emphasize it for my athletes as well. So making sure that I have them their macros or have them their meals by the next day or maybe the 2 days after, no later, to make sure that we have the optimal amount of time for growth. And usually all that is just a slow increase into those calories, making sure you're not packing on fat right after the show. And you're slowly adding those calories back in to get to that maintenance point or a little bit higher than maintenance to start lean gaining. So the thing about reversing, like I said, the reason I found it so hard is, we had somebody review some Reese's Oreos the other day. But
damn thing was hot garbage.
Facts. I had them during prep, so I know they're trash. But
that's terrible, dog.
But I think it's one of those things where I like for me, it's just because I know myself. Once my coach even said it 1 year after I did the Chicago Windy City show. Shout out to Brian. That I had we walked and got one cookie in Chicago, and it's like I called Jeff and Marianne. I mean, Marianne's the bad cop. Jeff's the good cop. Jeff walked with me to get this cookie. Marianne called us and was like, he only needs one. Because she knows once I crack that craving or hit that craving, a lot of things will open up. So I had one cookie, but then that was also the year I went and won the Yorton because I was able to just lock back in. So it's almost like once you open the gate to those cravings, some people cannot pull it back in. And I think that's just the thing with me being a seasoned competitor. I know if I'm getting too far to the right or too far to the left, I'll pull it back in. But of course, that's not the route you want to go.
I agree with you, brother.
But this was a great episode. I want to definitely shout out a few things. I want you guys to definitely, if you are looking for stage shorts for the next year and you need those customs, you know where to go. Chulawear.com. Go find those customs, get those leather Onyx shorts that Jamal is holding up. The stretchy ones. Get you a robe, get you some flip-flops, whatever you need. So the code is ESHEL10 or Carolina Muscle. Type that in that promo code, spend some cash. Well, I sound like I'm doing a read. This is great.
Great, bro. It's great for business.
Hey, great for business. Hey, we got to keep the lights on, as everybody say. Also, if you are looking for supplements, you know you got to go with the best. Core Nutritionals. Use that code ESHEL20. Get yourself 15% off at that checkout. But as you guys know, we really appreciate everybody who watches. I don't want to forget this. I know Jamal said at the last episode that we can't post, so I'll go ahead and say it here. If you guys are traveling to North Carolina, aka my hometown, Fayetteville, North Carolina, we will be there for the Battle of Unrivaled. Of course, we will be coaching, but we love to talk to a lot of you guys. If you watch the episode, like, subscribe, comment, grab some pictures, see what we can do, having some good conversations, maybe even get an interview up here on the page. What you got?
Hold on, dog. First of all, don't be telling people where I'm gonna be. I got people bullying me online. Now they know where I'm gonna be. They might try to send people after me. Now I'm scared for my life, dog. So now I'm just gonna have to defend myself now. Jesus.
Hey, don't worry. That's the hometown. I got people down there. We good. Let's go.
I ain't messing with you, dog.
Hey, 2 cents. Hey, stand up. Here we go.
Now I want to know, baby.
Hey, y'all, but this was a great episode. We hope you guys enjoy. I think we both have plenty of cards back in our system, so we are live and ready. And we are a little bit more energetic. But until next time, y'all, we will see you next week. Peace.